What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Sorry for a longer delay than I had planned here on the old YouTube program, but as you guys have seen from my Twitter, from everything else, there's been a lot going on. We've started a new writing job at Give Me Sport, and I've been all the way 10 toes down with soccer-wise with my man, David Goss. And just normal MLS, Copa America, Euro is nonstop. There are very few free nights, free days, so I apologize. It's me lashing out about a schedule rather than just taking accountability for not finding enough time to do YouTube videos. That changes today. I am back. Before we get into the video today, where we're going to talk about the 5 most interesting teams that I'm watching in terms of the summer transfer window around MLS, particularly for incoming transfers, I'm wearing this nice Columbus Crew shirt with Cucho Hernandez, Christian Ramirez, and Diego Rossi, like the old school Crew logo, because next week is the MLS All-Star Game. I will be in Columbus. I fly out Monday morning. It's an early flight. Not ideal, but we're going to make it happen. Not a complaint, just a fact. And we are, soccer-wise, we're doing our first live event. Please check out my social media, Soccer-Wise HQ on Twitter, Patreon, wherever. We've put it out everywhere. With the Nordeck, we are partnering with them, the Columbus Crew supporter section, to do a live show at a local brewery. It is going to be so much fun. We've already got at least one really special guest lined up that we'll hopefully be talking more about when we get closer to the event itself. But we're just going to be there, chilling, talking soccer, having a couple beverages with anybody who wants to come and hang out. And again, it's free. You just need a registration link just so the brewery can understand or plan for roughly the amount of how many people will be coming for us. Whatever it is, again, it's just so that they know. Nothing that you're being charged for. But anyway, I really can't wait. One of my favorite thing about this life is just talking to other people who want to talk about MLS, who care about this league, who have questions, who have takes, who have thoughts, whatever it is, just going and hanging out and grabbing a beer. That's why All-Star and MLS Cup, I travel to both every single year. And those are my 2 favorite events because I do stuff like this. I talk on the phone to people all the time, texting all the time. It's a really nice community. You know what's the most fun? Seeing all of those people in real life, talking to them in real life. David Goss, I'm doing a podcast with him twice a week, every week. We're looking at each other through a screen. I get to see him only a couple times a year. Hopefully more. But, that's what it is, man. These are my favorite parts. This is when the job doesn't feel like a job whatsoever, when you're just hanging out with people who become your friends in this community. I digress. That's enough of a soapbox. Nobody asked for a beauty pageant acceptance speech. So, without further ado, the top 5 MLS teams I am watching in the summer transfer window as the window opens for American MLS clubs on Thursday, July 18th. First thing for me, before we get into the top 5 teams I'm looking forward to, there are a few teams who have done a lot of work this summer already before the window opens, and I want to talk about the 2 of them really quickly. I think Austin FC, who brought in Usman Bukhari, Ukrainian center back Alexander Shvatak, and a right back Mikhail Dessler from a French club. That name's escaping me. They have done excellent work. Again, Usman Bukhari is a club record signing. I know things have not been going perfectly for Austin FC recently, but they had a slow winter in terms of retooling this roster under Rodolfo Borrell. His leadership from the front office, he joined last summer, so now this is, the second full window, really, because I don't even know if you can count last summer, because he inherited what was already going on. He wasn't there yet before they traded for Matt Hedges. He didn't do that, right? This is only his second full window. And while the winter was slower than I thought it would be, they've cleared out a lot of room to do more moves this summer. And again, they've already done it with Usman Bukhari. His profile, whether he is the top level of the output of whatever happens, the profile, the style of extremely dynamic winger, somebody who's going to create space underneath for Sebastian Driussi to kind of cook. When you have a 9.5, is what Driussi is for me, somebody who's playing attacking midfielder, second striker, who's a goal scorer, you need more chance creation on the wings. Particularly Hara Obrian has been a good signing. That's not his profile. So Usman Bukhari, what I was told, is more of a creative a chance creator than, say, a goal scorer from that wing position. But just by sheer gravity of his pace and dynamism of getting behind it should create more room. That fits a lot of what this attack is doing. And then again, fullback isn't a weak spot, but Dessler is supposed to be challenging for starting spot, and Svatak center back, they definitely need more of those for the long term. So we'll see how that goes. And the other team I want to talk about who've already done a few key signings, St. Louis City SC. I know it might be too late by now, just given where the season is standing, but Marcel Hartle, I think he's going to be really, really awesome in MLS. Columbus Crew had his discovery rights, and from talking to people at the Crew, they were like, hey, this guy's legit, right? people, it's not just St. Louis who are like, we think he's going to be perfect. And you can make the jokes about 2 Bundesliga or whatever, right? I think Marcel Hartl is going to be a really, really good player in this league. And he'd be very, very useful for this team if he could have been here 3-4 months ago. Same thing with Cedric Teuchert, who they also signed. They had tried to bring in Teuchert in the winter. That wasn't going to happen. But again, I think those are 2 really good signings. Even if for 2024, it might be a little bit too late. That still doesn't take away that they're good signings, right? So those are 2 teams that I've already done, I assume, the majority of their work, but who knows. And now, for real though, this time, the top 5. Let's start with Atlanta United. This is the most interesting team to watch in this summer transfer window. I was saying this a month ago because Giacomakis, I had been reporting on that for a while. It seemed for certain that Thiago Almada was going to leave. And then I knew that, there were some things cooking with Caleb Wiley. Didn't know if the offer was going to get there to be a real deal. But anyway, that's all already happened. Those 3 players are gone. Caleb Wiley's the only one that hasn't been officially announced. The final details. He's at the Olympics, right? There's nothing to worry about there. With a sell-on clause that triggered for Ezekiel Barco, between those 3 players plus a little bit of sell-on from Ezekiel Barco deal, $45 million, thereabout, guaranteed in the summer transfer window. There are teams in MLS, many of them, who have not come close to that total figure in their entire history, let alone in one window. This is extremely exciting. Again, 2 things can be true. They have had a bad season, and you don't raise a banner for having a good transfer turnaround. But also, the development of Caleb Wiley. He's a homegrown academy talent. $11 million at Chelsea. That's huge news. Giacomakis, really good deal to sign him a year and a half ago from Celtic for $4 million. He's out for $10 million. I know that they'd probably rather to have re-signed him to a new contract, keep him here, and then you don't need to go find a DP number 9. And then Thiago Almada, the most money up front guaranteed in MLS history, $21 million. I believe now it's actually the second most expensive outbound transfer in league history, based on apparently there was some creative accounting from their Atlanta's predecessors in the Miguel Marón deal. It was not $27 million. I'm told it wasn't exactly particularly close to that either. So that's just what I'm telling you. Alphonso Davies then would be the league record transfer at $22 million. John Duran might overtake that, depending on what the sell-on comes in when he leaves Aston Villa. I believe West Ham are trying to sign him. I don't know. It's fluid. It's very difficult, but that's, I'm trying to bring some information. Anyway, all of that was interesting as it is. Now, they have upwards of $50 million to spend. They need a DP number 9. They need a DP number 10. They need a head coach. So, at the base level here, you can sign those 2 DPs without bringing in a head coach. They could maybe sign a 3rd DP depending on when these roster rules are officially confirmed and announced, and what the allocation money situation looks like. And they're going to get a boost of that from Caleb Wiley. So their current DP, Stian Gregerson, I believe, or Bartosz Slis, one of those 2, because I've heard it both ways from a couple people. But regardless, it's the same concept. Either one of those players can be bought down with allocation money. But if they had the open DP spot and the current previous rules, or whatever, it's confusing and frustrating. It was that if you have 3 U22 initiative players, which they did, more than one, you need your 3rd DP has to either be a young DP or somebody under max TAM. So why waste the allocation money to not put one of those players on as a DP, just placeholding, so you don't need to use the allocation money. They can buy down that 3rd DP spot. So they could add 3 DPs this window or over the next 2 windows. And I plan for them to do that. This window, though, DP number 10, that is their top priority. They're doing all of these things at the same time. Alexei Miranchuk, he plays for Atalanta. He's a Russian international. That is real. Carlos Bocanegra was in Italy to try to continue to talk to a deal, to meet the player, do all of that. That would be super exciting. And from that profile, you can see exactly what Atlanta United are looking for. Chance creator, in-prime player, somebody who has excelled in multiple leagues, and in his case, it's Russia and Italy, and somebody who's going to be a force multiplier for the players around him. That's why I think it is very important for them to sign a 10 before 9. And because Daniel Rios and Jamal Tiare are good strikers, fine strikers, right? They're not, if you're going into the season as these are our starting strikers, you better have some real goal-scoring wingers, right? You look at other teams, Giacomakis was the DP center forward for Atlanta, right? It's a different level, but Rios and Tiare are solid. If you want to call them placeholders, that feels dismissive and unnecessarily mean. But my entire point here is that they don't have that kind of quality at attacking midfield, right? So, Sabaloba Janitze can play there, Nick Firmino, and no disrespect to those players, it makes more sense to get a DP10 who's going to make the players around them better. And then the idea is, if you have a 10 in first before the 9, then, the 10 can help Rios and Tiare. I do believe that they're going to sign both a 10 and a 9 this summer. I know that's the urgency. I don't believe that they're going to hire a new head coach this summer. In fact, I feel pretty strongly that the plan is to have Rob Valentino be the interim for the rest of the season, or have interim for the rest of the season, right? I was talking to sources and jokingly said, like, can you have Marcelo Gallardo's son, who plays for the second team, to give a call to his dad? And I was told that is not a realistic chance, right? And if Atlanta can't do it, then nobody in MLS can do it. Again, particularly with the money ambition and the fact that his son plays for the second team. So there's where all that's at. So it is not a boring time. It is a very exciting time around Atlanta United. I think it's fair criticisms. They have not been good enough this year. By and large, since Tata left, they have not been good enough at all. Last year, it turns out it was a bit of a mirage, that streak towards the end because the defense wasn't good enough. There are pieces here. The team is ready to, if you get a DP9, DP10, and they are the right players, I really do believe that they could quickly jump. Stian Gregerson, if he can stay healthy, like, he's going to be one of the best center backs in the league. That's what I think. They've already brought in a left back, Pedro Amador, to replace for Caleb Wiley. No idea if he's going to be great or not, but at least that they have somebody coming in there. Tristan Yuma, Bartosz Szlisz, I think that's a pairing that makes a lot of sense, even if Tristan Yuma has not been very good this year. Jean De Silva, Lobojanice, also brought in last summer. They make sense as role players. They have the foundation now to go out and spend a bunch of money on a DP9, DP10, and to make it work. Next up, Charlotte FC. What they need is a DP number 9, who's a pure finisher, a DP number 10 for chance creation. What they need to do is finalize this Tim Ream deal that they're continuing to work on, and figure out a long-term plan for Karol Swiderski, which, to my understanding, would be a long-term sale. They might be in the market to do a U22 initiative deal. They have that option, and I've heard if they're going to, it'd probably be a winger, but not the priority considering all the other ones. And then maybe do you look within the league for a trade or not? All of that is to say, when we're talking about Atlanta United laying a very good foundation for some of their players, Charlotte's is obviously better. Look at the standings, and they don't have a head coaching search. They got it absolutely right with Dean Smith. Dilson Malanda should have been not just at the All-Star game, he should have been voted as a starter. It's very unfortunate that he isn't. That defensive unit is absolutely legit. This is not smoke and mirrors. This is all real. I think Liel Abada, who came in April, has been an excellent signing as well. I think that he's going to be the goal here with the DP9, DP10 is that Liel Abada becomes an overqualified second banana or a Robin, right? Then to a Batman. He's been really good, and he's been helping carry the team to these results. All that's to say, this team has a legitimate chance to take the next jump this season ahead of schedule for me because of how much change they needed to do and how much structural change they kind of got with Dean Smith. Like, I have been reporting when I asked about Dean Smith and Charlotte and everything, like in preseason, I was like, man, like, you talk to people around the club, it's everybody, like, you're going to say positive things, right? Like, it's a new coach, new era, everybody has positivity, hope. Like, from the first minute, it was like, dude, this is different. Like, this is legit. Like, from the man management, the team building, to the tactics, to the training, to like, it's like all this is exactly what we needed from this group and from this hire, and he's been everything that we thought he'd be and more. And you've seen that throughout the season. This team has spent probably 2/3 of the season so far, 2/3 of the games they've played, essentially without a DP. Liel Abada came in late, missed time, injury, right? Like, he's really firing right now. Enzo Capetti was, and he was here. That's what I could say, right? So the fact that they are doing this without high-level DP-type players, again, until Abada got here, really, it's been extremely impressive. If they get these signings right, and for what I'm told, they're going to go with a DP9 ahead before a DP10, I would do it the other way around, but I get the arguments. If Patrick Adjumon gets injured, they don't really have a natural center forward to turn to. So it's awesome that he's gotten to the beginning of the transfer window while being consistent in both his availability and his performance, right? He's had better games than worse, but like, it's been really, really solid to very good. So the fact that Charlotte are here right now, the defense is legit, the foundation is legit, the style and the game model, it's all legit. And it's at a perfect spot to let me just sprinkle in a big DP number 10. Let me throw in a big DP number 9. And if they get those two signings right, it's not a stretch to say that they could be in that upper tier of the Eastern Conference with Cincy, Columbus, Miami. Right now, they've played their ways into the Red Bulls, NYCFC, like that next tier. And that's really impressive to begin with, given what the expectations were. And they didn't view this as a transition year, but like, it could have easily been, because there was a lot of change that needed to happen. They were able to bring in Abada. They were able to get Józwiak out on a permanent deal. They thought like that the plan wasn't for Karasodowski to come back. Liel Abada took his number, right? Like that just shows you that they weren't placeholding that. The assumption was that was it, and he was going to be gone. And the assumption I still think is that he's going to be gone. This team is really, really strong. They're really, really set up. So that's why I think Atlanta and them, and probably Charlotte maybe first, it is a different tier of like expectations and thoughts and excitement to watch what's going to happen this summer, because in Charlotte's case, they have the roster flexibility with at least one DP spot open and possibly two if Swiderski leaves. They have a U22 initiative slot open. They have essentially something like a max TAM slot, whatever. I don't know what the final numbers would be for Tim Ream if they get that deal done. While having the money to do something with it, like the players they've been linked with, again, like Luciano Rodriguez, in when they tried earlier this season, that would have been a lot of money. Liel Abada, it's like $6 to $8 million, whatever that was. That's a decent amount of money. Albert Groenbeek, who just signed with Rennes in Ligue 1, that would have been north of 10 million, 11 million, right? Like the money is here. Like David Tepper wants to invest, and this team is primed for that investment to bring in. So that's why this is probably, I think, them in Atlanta, and maybe if I had to really push for an answer, maybe Charlotte as the number one team that I'm most looking forward to seeing this summer. Again, like first things first, hopefully that Ream deal gets done soon. Nothing's totally done. Still optimism, but it's taking longer than expected, I think, by all parties. And then they'll go from there. And again, what I've been told, DP number 9 is the top priority. I haven't heard any names yet, but I know that this has been a long-term search, of course. Like, they sanctioned the Copetti sale months ago, and it wasn't exactly a surprise that was coming. So I know that they were kind of well set up to be ready for that sale. So I'd expect to hear some movement soon, and maybe they're doing a good job of keeping it kind of beneath the surface. But we'll see what happens next. Charlotte FC, absolutely one of the teams I'm most looking forward to watching this summer. Next one, for a low-key, solid to very good team this season now, the Portland Timbers, who have come on really, really strong lately. They have the flexibility and they have the foundation, a better foundation than I think we knew of in April, right? Because they were not playing very well back then. And look, Jonathan Rodriguez came in March was when they signed him, that the DP forward winger. This attack is so complimentary. Evander has been insane this season. Deserved all-star nod. Somewhere on the fringes of the MVP vote. Like, he's not going to be a finalist, I don't think, unless he goes crazy. Yeah, continues to go crazy. And, you know, I take that back. I shouldn't put any ceilings on that. He's currently not, but, like, he's in the conversation. I think that's huge. Like, that gives you the chance to win legitimate trophies around him. The attack of Mora, Moreno, Evander, Rodriguez, elite, man. It's incredible. They're so complimentary of each other and individually all very, very good. Mora being healthy and consistent has been an awesome, low-key subplot this season. You just hate seeing guys that are taken off the field because of injuries or it's like, oh, what if? Well, this season, it's like, well, he's got 11 goals or whatever it is. Like, that's what if he could stay healthy for a season and in a competent, consistent attack. So that's really awesome. What they are going to do this summer, DP central midfielder, that's the expectation. That's what I've been told. And with that, they have a decent number of bodies in that central midfield group. Obviously, Diego Char's going nowhere. David Ayala, they really, really like him. So that leaves Eric Williamson and Christian Paredes. One of those two, if they sign a DP center mid, one of those two will be gone. I'm told strictly it won't be zero, but it won't be both. I keep saying that I assume because I think you would get more money for Eric Williamson from, like, within MLS. I think that the internal market would be stronger for him. And just knowing that he's won it out before, it's kind of been something that's had simmered under the surface a little bit, and then kind of got to social media when he did the F around and find out tweet about Gio Savarese after he was left out of the starting lineup on decision day a couple years ago in a pivotal game. Whatever. All that is to say is that, like, Eric Williamson just makes more sense if he's traded. But I was told there is a robust market for Christian Paredes, and they could go that direction as well. But I'm just adding my 2 cents in. They've already signed New Zealand center back Finn Sermon. He's 20 years old from Wellington Phoenix. He's at the Olympics right now. That's a long-term play. That's somebody that will kind of help with this group, and they really love his upside, his talent. It'd be unreasonable to be like, go ahead and start at center back for us now. But the defense has been so much better lately. The leaps that Juan David Mosquera has made against the ball are really strong, which means he probably won't be here much longer because teams were ready to buy him before he developed the defensive side of his game, when he was still a liability and developing player in question marks. He's gotten better, so his price is going to go up, but that means that the offers are going to go up too. So I don't know how much longer the Portland Timbers are going to be able to keep Juan David Mosquera, but that has helped with their defensive improvement. So this is another team that is kind of in the mix in the second or third tier, whatever you kind of want to call it, in the Western Conference. They have the attacking talent to outscore you in any given day, but that usually doesn't lend well to Leagues Cup and MLS playoff runs. So if a DP center mid comes in, makes the defense better, you're getting back Kamal Miller and Maxime Crépeau from the Canadian national team. Crépeau in particular had an awesome Copa America. That's all good. Like, they're all building here. Like, that's what was weird for me. Like, earlier in the season, like, the defensive group, they had their issues, right? And there's some talent deficiencies there, but, like, on paper, it wasn't that disastrous. So it was, like, kind of surprising. Why are they giving up so many individual mistakes, a couple red cards or lapses in judgment or concentration or just a bad decision or a bad pass, right? Like, so it was, like, surprising to me. And I don't know how much has been corrected just based on positive regression to the mean, or if there's been kind of more tactical tweaks that Phil Neville has done, or if it's development of individual players, like I was saying with Mosquera. But whatever it is, the defense have been much, much better. They're just coming off a huge 3-0 win over Real Salt Lake. That was really great. And that's a kind of like a playoff atmosphere. Like, Real Salt Lake is one of the best teams in the Western Conference. And they destroyed them, really, quite frankly. 3-0 win. So there's a lot of optimism here for the Portland Timbers. And we didn't know it was going to be quite like this 8 to 10 weeks ago when they were struggling and they had this run of like 8 or 9 games in a row where they gave up multiple goals in every single game. So that's been really cool to see under Phil Neville and this team turn around. And they're going to add to the team this summer, so they're one of the teams to watch. Next up, 2 more to round out this top 5. And the theme here for these 2 teams is going to be really, really good teams. Not necessarily a ton to do in terms of incomings, but like high leverage incomings that could really change the course of this season or, cement the course of this season. First up, FC Cincinnati. They need a living, breathing, healthy center back. I know that that's something they're working on with Matt Miazga on the season-ending injured list, and they get his salary slot back. Going to be huge in that search. They need to move on from Aaron Bupenza. Nothing new there in terms of that's something we all know. And then bring in another DP. So it might just be like 2, maybe 3 additions, but one of them is going to be a Miazga replacement, and one of them is going to be a designated player. So this is an extremely exciting team to watch this summer because they're the reigning Supporters Shield champs. They are one of the best teams in MLS. They are pushing to try to win another Shield and then make a run in League Cup and the playoffs and everything else. They have one of the best, if not the best players in MLS in Lucho Acosta. He's at the top of his game. They went on this insane run of 12 wins in 14 games despite Lucho Acosta and then Luca Origiano as like the 2 most established players. And then it's like Kevin Kelsey arrives on loan immediately in the starting lineup. Yu Yakubo goes from right wing back to center mid to center forward. Corey Barrett's out, and then youth players come in, or this player comes in, that player goes out. Like, Miazga gets hurt, Hagman gets hurt, and like just still winning 12 out of 14 games. So they will improve this summer, and the fact that they're at last check, I forget if they're still technically top of the Supporters Shield standings by points per game or points, whatever it is. Like, that's a credit to Pat Noonan and this group and to Lucho Acosta and everybody else. Like, Miles Robinson's been gone for the Copa America. He comes back, gets a red card. Now he's got to sit out before he goes to the Olympics, and he'll be gone again. So it's a lot going on here for FC Cincinnati, and there have been no excuses. It's just gotten results, and that's what this team has been like for 2.5 years under Albright, Noonan, and the new regime, and a reborn Lucho Acosta and everything else. Like, it doesn't matter. Figure it out. Get results. And again, there's the publicized ambitious chase for Weston McKennie. That DP spot, it comes with big expectations and big money, big ambition. And again, this is one of the very best teams in MLS. This is going to be one of the teams that is writing the book of what happens in this 2024 season. They have a DP spot open. They have center back need, all of this. It makes them one of the 5 most exciting teams to watch this summer. Lastly, Real Salt Lake. And this one, even more than Cincy, it's just one signing. It's just one. Sign a DP. Sign a DP10. I know that they're working behind the scenes. I think that they're getting closer. Bring in a designated player. Bring in another person to add to MVP frontrunner, potential finalist, whatever it is. Chicho Rango, Andres Gomez, Diego Luna. Bring in a DP, right? Like, this team is very good. They need defensive help as well. I don't know what they're going to have in terms of salary cap space or roster flexibility to maybe add a center back or something to that effect. But one big signing, you have a chance to win the Shield. Maybe they're more so on the outskirts now than they were 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, whatever it is. But This team is one of the best in the league. And anytime you have this chance, you can't be flippant about it. You can't think that your window is going to be open, and they don't. That's part of the reason why Fidel Barajas, really good deal, $4 million from Chivas 6 months after they paid, $250,000 for him? Well done. But the other side of that is, Fidel Barajas, while he has a ton of potential, and I think he's going to do excellent at Chivas, I think that his career is going to be excellent. It was a good value, plus you can just take that money, the $4 million that they're going to get from Chivas, and put it back in the first team into this DP search. And that's what I'm told that they're doing. So that's very exciting. And if they get to sign it right, again, like this will be one of the teams that has expectations in Leagues Cup and the playoffs and down the stretch in the regular season. So anytime a team like this has a DP spot open, has some money to do something about it, and I'm told they're going to do something about it, that puts them in the top 5. That rounds it out. That'll do it for me today. Again, sorry about the delay. We've got some exciting news. Like I said, I'll be in Columbus starting next week, so I'm sure that it won't be the busiest week on the YouTube channel again, just with all the stuff going on. But I appreciate you guys checking it out. Appreciate all the support on Soccer-Wise. I appreciate all the well wishes and reading my articles on Give Me Sport after starting a little bit more than a week ago now. A lot of exciting things going on. So stay tuned, Soccer-Wise. Hope to see you guys in Columbus. Say what's up. Again, appreciate you guys waiting through a little delays here on the YouTube channel. I'm going to try to keep up with it. It's just tough for, okay, what's good to write as an article, what should be a podcast topic, and what should be a YouTube video. An obvious one that'd be a YouTube video is a Football Manager stream that I just don't have any time to do. And right now, my current little bit of free time, next to no free time, is I impulse bought NCAA 25. So just going to, Tony Soprano in a Rutgers shirt because I felt like I had to do New Jersey school. I don't know. But anyway, that is to explain that even if my little free time is right now going to NCAA. So at some point, I'm going to do another FM save. I promise you, but not right now. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon.